Hello everyone, Taki here. I've got a very interesting video for all of you today to kick off the new year. I've been testing out this powerful mid-range tablet for a few months now, and I cannot wait to showcase what it can do, but we just recently got some big news in the handheld scene that connects to this tablet. Powkiddy made a huge play by announcing that they are going to be upgrading their X18 device with the same chip that's in this tablet, and that alone will give them the position of the second most powerful Android handheld with gaming controls, finally unseating the original Mochi i7 from 2017. In this video, we're going to take a look at what this tablet and processor can do in terms of emulation performance, focusing not only on what is possible with this mid-range tablet, but also what this new processor means for the future of handheld gaming. The Teclast M40 comes with a new Unisoc T618 CPU with a G52 GPU, 6GB of LPDDR4 RAM, 128GB of storage, a 6000 mAh battery, a 10.1-inch IPS display with a resolution of 1920 by 1200, and Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 5, and 4G data support. Like I've already mentioned, I've been using this tablet for a few months now, mainly for gaming, and I've been very pleased at what it can do thanks to that Unisoc chip. The T618 comes with two powerful A75 cores, and that gives the device excellent system performance and allows it to rip through almost anything that you throw at it. I'll spend more time focusing on the physical side of the M40 when I do my full review, but I want to just show off some of the specs in one benchmark that is touted by Teclast due to its high score. I want to keep this video focused on emulation, but I will be showcasing a lot of the Android gaming performance with this chip in another video, because this thing is amazing for Android gaming, and that's primarily how I've been using my tablet. The way that I'm going to structure this showcase is broadly moving from systems that are easy to emulate all the way to the most difficult. We're going to start off first with N64, and I want to mention that I've tried to stress the system out a little by rendering all of these games at 960 by 720 with an accurate emulation profile. I also want to say, please excuse some of the angles that I've had to record this video in, as it was the best way to eliminate some of the camera glare off the front glass. Hopefully you'll be able to see that the picture is really sharp when it's upscaled like I have it here.
Pretty smooth flying, Fox.
It's not until we get to Conkers where the system is pushed too far at this high resolution, and the only way that you're going to be able to get this game to play is with a lower emulation profile that causes some graphical glitches. Banjo-Tooie is another demanding game that has some slight frame dips here and there with this higher resolution. Nintendo DS can be demanding depending on the game that you're playing, but this chip is powerful enough to handle everything. Now this is the point where things get interesting, both for this tablet and for future devices. GameCube performance is significantly better than other tablets in this price range. We're starting off first with Mario Kart Double Dash, since that's one of the easier titles to run well, and you can see that the game is running without any issues. I do want to mention that this tablet uses a 59Hz screen, so the readings that you're going to see in some of these emulators will show 59 FPS, but that's essentially full speed because the emulators won't render faster than the refresh rate of the screen. Resident Evil 4 can be a very demanding game, and there are some slight dips from 30 FPS here and there on this device, but the game is highly playable, and I'm sure I could get this to run better with more time. Super Mario Sunshine was the first GameCube game that I was actually happy to see running well, because it doesn't run well on many other Android handhelds, and it's running on this device with basically no issues at all. Wind Waker is slightly easier to run than Sunshine, so it's not a huge surprise that it's running well here, but Twilight Princess has some huge slowdowns that are very disappointing because this game should run with no problem based on everything else that I've seen from my test. I'm going to take another look at this game in the future to see if I can get it to run better with different settings. The last GameCube game for this test is Smash, and it runs without any issues also. It's not until we get to Wii where things start to fall apart with this chip. You can see from this footage of Mario Kart that the game is running at half speed, and this is one of the easier games to run. On top of this, both Mario Galaxy games have some huge graphical glitches, along with running at half speed. There are other games that can run full speed on this, but I just wanted to show these because Wii is a mixed bag. 3DS is also too demanding at this point for this chip, but there are some games that are playable. The problem with 3DS is that it can be slow until you've built up a cache, as you'll see with this Fire Emblem clip. The second time I go into battle, the effects are much faster even though the game is still running too slow. Other games that are easy to emulate on this system have some graphical glitches that you've seen in other devices that make them unplayable, and other popular games have a mix of performance between running slow in the main world and slightly better in battles like Pokémon. Dreamcast is actually easier to run than the other three systems, so this progression isn't technically correct, but I didn't want to break up the Nintendo sequence. Using the Redream emulator, you're going to have basically no problems at all with any Dreamcast game, especially if you want to upscale the games to a higher resolution. Everything is going to essentially run at 60 FPS with this emulator and processor. Now let's move over to PSP because this is a strength of this device. You can see my settings on screen right now. We are using the Vulkan backend and the PSP resolution is set to 3x, but 4x gives the same performance. The first game that we're going to start off with is actually one of the most demanding, and that's Tekken 6, running at 3x resolution, but again, this runs the same at 4x resolution. I just forgot to change the settings before I recorded this video. I also want to point out that this emulator will not render games above the refresh rate of the screen, and it doesn't matter what type of game you're playing, it will always run at 59 out of 60 FPS if you're playing a 60 FPS game, even if it's a 2D game. Firing the cannon in Ratchet and Clank is a good test of performance with buffered rendering on, as it will lag on most processors, but you can see that we're running it without any issues right now. Similar to Ratchet and Clank, the first level of Jak and Daxter with buffered rendering can have some performance issues on weaker processors to the point where you'd need to use skip buffering, but it's running smoothly here with buffered rendering.
Impossible, but if you do a double jump and then press the button in the air...
Now we get to the pinnacle with the God of War games. Ghost of Sparta is actually running at 2x resolution. 1x resolution runs with no problems at all, but I wanted to show that you can still tax this chip when it's rendering a game at double resolution, but the game still runs nice and we are still using buffered rendering. Just like Ghosts of Sparta, Chains of Olympus is running at 2x resolution with buffered rendering, and the performance seems to be slightly better than the other game. That leaves us with PlayStation 2 emulation, and there are a lot of games that run at or near full speed, like Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts 2, but this emulator is absolute garbage on any Android device, and you'd be better off in every instance just using Wi-Fi to stream PS2 to your tablet or Android gaming device if you really wanted to enjoy PS2 on the go, and you don't have enough money to buy a more expensive Windows handheld. This emulator gets almost no updates, and it's really structured around being a cash grab for what it is. I really hope that with Apple using ARM chips, we'll finally get to the point where PS2 emulation is good on Android, but we're not there yet. I will just say that I have tested out this chip on another device, and God of War ran twice as fast as you see it here, so there may be some performance potential loss in this implementation by Teclast and the M40. Anyway, that's it for this emulation test of the M40 and this new Unisoc T618 processor. I think that this is a pretty powerful mid-range tablet that can handle almost anything you throw at it, with the benefit of also having 4G data if you pop a SIM card into the device. If there's anything else that you'd like to know about this tablet or processor, feel free to leave those questions below and I'll do my best to get back to you. I'll also leave a link to Teclast store so you can check out the device if you want more information. I hope you all enjoy the new year with your family and friends, and I'll catch you next time with another review. Happy gaming, everyone. Taki out.